Welcome, this is my first video that I will be posting on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about healing. I've started healing recently. I've just recently leveled up my life staff, and I really think there's not a lot of content out there that's explaining to us what we're doing to build up to it. We can find videos on best in gear or best in slot gear for say, and like just overall statistics. But I want to go over getting started and getting to that place. I am going to do this, and it's going to be a journey to get there, and we're going to be working on it. But this video today, I'm going to go over some PvE healing and some dungeons and whatnot, and using some examples and some of just my overall knowledge and experience from playing this for basically the first time. I've been playing since launch, but I picked this game back up since this last expansion, Legion Wilds, came out. So join me and I'll go over and hopefully you and I both learn something. Thanks, y'all. Enjoy. Most important thing, get your life staff up to level 20. It's obvious, but it's true. You need it because you're going to get more damage out of it. You're going to have all of your abilities, and you can keep your group alive in any situation you come into. That's just key. Your secondary is not as important. I use the Void Gauntlet for PvE. It works. It's not max level, but it gets the job done and it heals my group by a little bit. You can actually get a best in slot life staff actually very easily. It's in the Gypsum Kiln, and it's called the Life Well Channeler. I highly recommend it. It's meant for AoE healing, and it works. It gets the job done. It's you got lots of stats and very good perks on it. Highly recommended. Next thing is make sure your abilities are properly. If you're switching between classes and stuff, the last thing you want to go into is a dungeon and find out you don't have you're tanking and you don't have your constitution and it's all in strength. And next thing you know, you're dying and you don't know why. You're like, I just lived. I did this dungeon a minute ago. Trust me, it happened when I was messing around with tanking. Same thing has happened. I didn't have all my focus points on, or I didn't lock in my points, so I wasn't healing for anything, and I didn't know what was going on for the first couple pools. Just make sure you got those stats going. I run focus, and that's pretty much it. And a little bit of con for a little extra health, and intellect. My intellect is not as high as I wanted. I want to be a little higher, but I need to get the gear for it. Intellect is mostly for my Void Gauntlet to help that scale, and I get a little more nature damage. Life Staff is all the way up because obviously I want focus so I can heal. That's my job. I'm not trying to do extra damage. I want to heal. So the next thing I want to be talking about is positioning and keeping your party alive, and your basically what it comes down to is keeping your tank alive and your priority in that situation. Obviously, we want to keep the tank alive no matter what because they are taking the damage. Especially as a healer, you don't have a whole lot of health and survivability, and there are situations in which you could be one shot or chunked out for over 3/4 of your health. So keeping the tank alive will keep you and the party alive. Now, on the other hand, though, there's just world damage in a dungeon, or even damage that is just picked out to a specific player that is not the tank, or sometimes it's just mistakes or stupidity of people around you and your DPS taking damage that they shouldn't. But you need them to stay alive, and you need to keep them alive. So, priority, as you can see, what's going on right now is I'm healing my DPS and keeping him alive, and he takes damage. He's not in the middle of the circle where I'm have the tank and where we have the boss. But if I can keep him alive, we can get more damage on the boss and kill him sooner. Because some bosses you have to kill them faster or you will lose. And also with the mutation dungeons, you need a better score so you can try to get better drops on loot and to beat your best time. So obviously if my tank is low, I want to make sure he's alive. And as a healer, if you have diamonds, the diamond gives you a decent buff. If you are full health, full health is very important as a healer, and you have complete control of that, whether it is popping potions or even dropping extra heal on you. And that's why you see me on the boss with the DPS that are melee, so I'm able to get some of that heals. And notice I'm also positioning myself as much as possible behind a boss. Most bosses and most MMOs don't really attack you if you're behind them because they have like an AoE slash or a cleave of some sort that's hitting everything in front of them. So if you're able to keep your position behind the boss, you're going to do a lot better. You're going to take damage and it's going to be part of it. You just got to make sure you constantly have that healing going on. And then you can also mix in a little DPS here and there with your secondary or even your staff. Just make sure you know your priority, which is healing. So, next topic. The next thing I want to bring up is know the dungeon or expedition for you, if you wish, that you're doing. So, there are some mechanics and that will just kill you. Or, yeah, they will just kill you. And the reason why I'm showing Genesis right here is because this specific boss, they'll do like this attack that will wipe your party if you don't get behind these circles. And if you don't know that, you'll die. This is a pretty easy one. Now, there's a little more complex stuff. And then the other thing is like your gear. If you're doing mutated expeditions, certain expeditions with different mutations are going to do different types of damage. And you want to run those gems to keep your survivability up because in the end of the day, you're going to die. Your team will wipe. Your expedition will lose, and you will not get the gear drops in which you want or need. So survivability is important for you as well. Now, like I said earlier, you also want to make sure you're staying full in health, and these chunks will wipe people out of your team. So we lost a party member just a minute ago, and it was because of the mechanic. I couldn't have healed him. Tank did his job. Tank has the buffs on him, but still, they still died because they weren't able to get behind the balls. Now, we all lived there and we all did exactly what we're supposed to do, and that's how that's supposed to happen. So, know the dungeon you're in and know what type of mutation it is, and you'll find yourself a lot better off. It's not necessarily needed in probably level ones, but it's going to be needed in two and up. I can assure you of this. Now, on to the last topic. Thanks, y'all. The last thing I want to hit on is a lot of people who start healing are just they're nervous about it. That's I was too, frankly. And a lot of that comes from because if you mess up, your entire party dies. If you're doing PvP, your teammate dies and they can't achieve the objective. An expedition is lost because you couldn't get a piece of gear because you kept wiping or kept dying or weren't healing enough because of whatever reason. And you weren't getting your gear and people were mad at you. That is a valid reason to be nervous and hesitant about healing. I completely understand it. But frankly, you just got to get over it. Like, that's kind of harsh, but like, the only way you're going to learn is by doing it. So I would say just get out there and do it. And I'm learning every day. Every time I go into an expedition, I learn something new. When I first started healing, I was like, what are these controls? How do I do things? And overall, I'm getting a lot better at controlling things and getting things done and healing properly, but I'm figuring it out and it's working. And my numbers are getting better when I do PvP and stuff, and I'm able to see that. And it feels great because I know that I'm improving at healing. So get out there and try it. Don't be nervous. And yeah, like you can even ask my friend, Father Sexy. I was doing bad in the beginning because we were doing PvP, and he's like, "Yo, heal me," and I'm like, "I'm trying," and it's a lot better now. I'm not perfect yet, and he still asks for heals and just can't do it for whatever reason, but it's getting better. So that's it. I'm not gonna try to encourage you all to subscribe or anything like that. I'm doing this just for fun. So I'm not going to do that in any of my videos. This is probably the last time. Hopefully I'll probably mention that because I'm doing this for my enjoyment, and also I'm doing this to try to help you guys. So, and share my learning experiences in learning how to heal in New World. So, I appreciate you guys. If you have any advice or hot takes or anything like that, I'm glad to hear that though. Um, so I would like to try to do better on my videos so it's more entertaining and more enjoyable for you guys. So y'all have a great day. Stay frosty out there, and remember, so others may live. Have a good day.